Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Take Back My Life Challenge 5-day blueprint to freedom. I'm so excited today, and welcome. I would love to know where you are all tuning in from, and if you are so excited and so ready to take back your life, I want you to put slay in the comments. I want to see everybody putting slay in the comments. And this is day 2 of the Take Back My Life 5-day blueprint to freedom challenge. Yesterday, we focused on mastering your emotions, which is a really critical first step in reclaiming your power, overcoming the fear, overcoming the overwhelm, overcoming the exhaustion, and really starting to master your emotions. So if you missed out on that, make sure you go to challenge.rebeccazung.com. You grab the workbook and you can catch yourself up and also watch the replay. So whether you are in the middle of a litigation or maybe court, or you're facing a narcissist in some kind of negotiation, whether it's a divorce, a business partnership, whatever it is, you're just trying to disentangle yourself from that high conflict person, that person who's toxic, that person who's sucking the energy, the life from you, your soul from you. This is the one for you. This is going to be so juicy today, because we're going to be talking about how to protect your finances, how to secure your future, how to find hidden assets and income, how to this one is probably the most juicy I've ever done. And so I know that narcissists weaponize money, whether they are cutting off your credit cards, cutting off your support, hiding assets, financial manipulation, outright control. I get it. I've been there. I've been a lawyer for 24 years now. I've seen it all. There's nothing I haven't seen or done. Okay. But today I'm going to show you how to take back that control and protect what's yours. All right. Does that sound good? I see Michelle Johnson says slay, and Bambi says slay. And hello, beautiful Charles, Earth Angel. You are an Earth Angel. I just love you. And I see Bambi. I see Clint. Clint and Charles are 2 of our high conflict negotiation coach trainees. And I'm so excited that they are here. And I'm so excited that you are all here, because you are deciding today to take back your life and stand up for you. And that's the most important thing, because the more you give narcissists your power, the more they use it for supply for themselves. So this is about you taking back control, taking back your power, taking back your agency, your freedom, your desire to be the biggest version of yourself. And that is what it's all about, because no one should ever dim your light, and you should never let anyone dim your light. All right. So hello, Hannah from the UK. Hello, Rhapsody from France. Just love it. I love that we can all come together here. And I see Charles and Clint, they're saying hello to each other. They're part of my community. Our tight-knit community is the best. I absolutely adore the people who are in my coaching community. So hello, Marco from Serbia. All around the world, we are coming together. And I'm so grateful for all of you. So hello, Lucienne from South Africa. All right, so let's dive in. Narcissists use money as a tool of control. They try to use it for power, for leverage. They hide assets, drain accounts, make financial decisions designed to destabilize you, designed to keep you as their hookup, their IV source for supply. They are drug addicts and you are the drug. All right. And financial is a big piece of it, a big, huge piece of it. And that's why it's so important to understand this, because the impact of financial manipulation is that it keeps you dependent on them. It creates a sense of helplessness. It makes you feel like you're a victim to them. And it diminishes your ability to advocate for yourself legally, personally, emotionally, spiritually. Who gets this? Give me a yes in the comments or the chat if you get this. I see Hannah says, God, yes. Yeah. All right. So first of all, let's talk about some hidden assets. So many people think that people are hiding money, right? So hiding money is a big one. So one of the things that you can do, and I can tell you this from experience, and that is that narcissists, it seems like they're probably getting away with a lot, and maybe they are. But in today's day and age, it's really not as easy to hide money as it used to be. Even if it's cash, even if they get paid in cash, there are ways that you can combat this. Okay. So the first thing that you look for is little notations on the bank statements, like, okay, where's that transfer? What was that for? Unexplained withdrawals, unexplained transfers. Look for patterns of money disappearing from accounts without explanation. This could indicate funds being funneled elsewhere, okay? Or maybe it's a check to somebody for a large amount that you don't know what that's for, or you don't know who that person is. I had a case one time where we found huge checks written to the person's cousin or to their old friend back where they were from in the other state. And that's where you can start to go, wait a minute, my antenna should be up here. And especially if you can see where the transfer went to. Like if you can see, well, wait a minute, all of our accounts are at Chase. What's this transfer to Wells Fargo? What's that about? Okay, so that's one way that you can tell. That's a red flag. Those are some red flags. If there's sudden dips in income, okay, so if somebody's an entrepreneur or a business owner, we call it in the divorce world, SID, sudden income deficiency syndrome, which everybody seems to have in the middle of a divorce, right? Oh my God, I had the worst year ever. Oh yeah, I made millions of dollars before, but now I only make 5,000. So that's what you look for, sudden dips in income. Or you can look for expenses that have been increased, uh, like, and it doesn't really make any sense as to why. Look for a mismatch in what they're saying versus the lifestyle that you've been leading, right? So if, for example, they're saying I only make $10,000 a year, but you've been living in a $2 million house and sending the kids to private school and you drive nice cars and you go on vacation. Well, that doesn't make any sense, right? So you can back into it as well through that. Now, the other thing that I often tell people to do is to do subpoenas. Okay, so this is a really great way that you can circumvent dealing with the narcissist, because what happens is if you do a request for production, for example, now you're just asking for them to basically hand you the documents that you are asking for. And what narcissists tend to do is they play games with this. So they will, if you're asking for 12 months of statements, they'll give you all the months except for July, or they'll give you everything except for page 12 or page 15 or whatever. And now you're like having to pay money to your attorney, or maybe it's you that's going through it, or maybe they're paralegal, which they also bill at an hourly rate, to go through everything and see what's missing. And most jurisdictions have some kind of mechanism where before you can file a motion for to compel or for contempt or to enforce or whatever it is called in your particular state, where you're trying to say, court, make them give me the documents, usually there's a mechanism, a requirement that both sides have to talk to each other and you have to try to resolve the issue. What does that mean in real life? In real life, that means your lawyer has to write this long letter that says, hey, these are all the things that are missing. I'm missing the Wells Fargo statement from July of 2023. I'm missing the credit card statement for blah, blah, blah. And they have to go through it and list everything. And that becomes extremely cumbersome and expensive. I mean, just to write that one letter that says, hey, this is all that's missing, send it over, I'm giving you 10 days, that could cost you $2,000. And so now you've just spent $2,000 just to send a letter over, just for them to not send the documents anyway, because they're not going to send them like that. And then your lawyer has to go file a motion to enforce or a motion to compel. And then that motion costs money to draft. And now your lawyer has to set it for hearing. And then that they have to calendar a hearing. So they have to coordinate with the other side to calendar that hearing. And then you have to actually go to the hearing, which costs more money, or sometimes they provide the documents the night before just to mess with you or whatever. If you guys have seen this stuff, give me a so right in the comments. I want to know if you guys have seen this before. And then what happens is you go to the court, you say, these are all the things that are missing. And the court says, okay, you now have 10 days to get it to them, or I'm going to give you more sanctions, or I'm going to, assess whatever. Maybe you ask for fees, maybe you get the fees. That is what happens. Okay. That's why I'm a huge, it just told me, just all of that alone, how long did that take me to explain to you? And that's just a microcosm of what happens with narcissists, because the game play. They'll say, I gave you everything. You have everything. All of that. That is such a huge, huge piece. And it costs you, and you're just throwing money away like this. Okay. So that's why I'm a huge proponent of subpoenas if you can do it. So it's easier if it's within your state. If you have to go out of state or out of your jurisdiction, then it might be a little bit more complicated, because you have to get the subpoena issued from that particular jurisdiction. But it's not as bad as dealing with what I just explained. So if you are dealing with, yes, Sue Giles says so right. Yeah. So if you are dealing with this, then what you need to do is just say, okay, I know all of these banks are involved. I'm going straight to the bank and I'm going to get them to give me the documents. And yes, you're going to have to pay a copy charge. And yes, you have to pay the process server to issue the subpoena. It usually is a hell of a lot less than what I just described to you. And you know that you're getting it all, unencumbered, untouched, no game playing. You get every single thing you're asking for. What I recommend that you do is ask for everything with that person's social security number, their date of birth, and their name. Don't ask for specific accounts, because there may be accounts at that particular institution that you are not aware of. Okay, so subpoena when you can, because then you don't have to deal with all of that. All right, so is this helpful so far, guys? All right, so the next thing is the cash issue. Okay, so when you are dealing with cash, the easiest thing that you can do is ask for an audit of the cash. Now, is this inexpensive? Not necessarily. But if you do believe that they're getting paid in lots and lots of cash, which I've done this before, Kelly Terry, hello, beautiful Kelly. So your attorney has to get the subpoena, correct? Now, I mean, unless you're pro se, if you're representing yourself, then you can do it yourself. But if you're represented by an attorney, the attorney can issue the subpoena. Okay, so the next thing that, before I get to that, I wanted to just mention, you can do requests for production. You can do discovery requests. Now, if you are asking for documents from a trusted resource, like, I don't know, maybe it's an accountant that you trust or whatever, then you don't necessarily have to have a subpoena, but you do if it is a third party. You can do a notice of request for production from a third party if you need to. I really do recommend doing subpoenas though, because then they're under court order to provide you what you need to provide. You really can only do requests directly from the person who is the party. Okay. And then if it's not somebody who's the party, I recommend it to be subpoenas. Okay. So, talking about auditing cash transactions now. In businesses, especially those who are dealing predominantly in cash, auditing transactions can be really a good thing to do. You can reveal discrepancies. You can figure out if they're siphoning off or hiding funds. But what I would do is I would begin by looking at the company's accounting records. All right, compare them with the bank statements, compare them with the expenses, and compare them with what the lifestyle appears to be for you and also for that company. Pay attention to unexplained shortages, unusual write-offs, inconsistent reporting periods. Okay, so what you do with the audit though is they're random audits to deter and detect irregularities. You can even, if you need to, place a person in their business who's going to sit there and watch every single transaction. I did this before in a restaurant business, and actually see how much money comes in the door with every single transaction, and you maybe do it for a week or something like that. That is only if you believe that you're going to see a return on your investment. Always be looking to see, is this going to be a good return on my investment? Because, how much are you going to, put good dollars after bad, right? So if you believe there really is thousands of dollars that you're losing every single week, or millions of dollars, or whatever it is, then it's definitely worth it for you. All right. So that can be a powerful tool in looking for cash. Now, the other thing, as far as finding hidden accounts, it's not like, I always say, it's not like there's some big, computer in the sky that people can go to and go, oh, this person has accounts in these places. It's not quite that easy, but there are people who can help you find hidden assets. If I've seen the reports, they're not always completely accurate, but they can, see if there's potentially assets in certain institutions, even offshore as well. I have seen that. Okay. So that is something that you can do. The other thing is engaging a forensic accountant. If you need to engage a forensic accountant, they do specialize in tracing and in finding hidden assets and in tracking those financial discrepancies. So if you need a financial accountant, somebody who can help you, a forensic accountant, look to see what kinds of things can this person do for me. So in every divorce, if you're dealing in a divorce, there's 5 main areas. It's property division. It's going to be support for the spouse. It's going to be custody and parenting for the children. And then it's child support and fees. So how can a forensic accountant help? Well, if you're looking for hidden assets, then what happens is many times if you find that that there's hidden assets, or maybe there's wasted assets, or maybe there's assets that no longer exist anymore, then you can get a credit for that on your side of the spreadsheet. Okay, so let's say $100,000 is missing, it's gone, it was wasted, it got spent, it was gambled away, it was hidden, whatever it was. Then a credit can be put on their side of the spreadsheet as if they already received that 100,000, and so therefore you get 100,000 on your side. Does that make sense? Give me a yes if that makes sense. Okay, so the other thing that you can use forensic accountants for is a lifestyle analysis, and this is only really done for support analysis, for spousal support. So this is where you're going to look for a couple of different things. How much were you spending? And also, what is the actual true income of this person? This is where you want to look at cash. Hannah says, brilliant info. Good. I'm glad it's helpful. So this is where you're going to want to look at income and also lifestyle. Okay. And then what are the laws in your particular area? Okay. So every area has laws around what spousal support is, or if it's alimony or whatever they call it. Look at the laws in your particular area. Now, I can tell you, by the way, in my Slade program, I do have a whole bonus section on finding hidden assets and income. And I do also have my own personalized GPT, which is your magic leverage AI. And if you go to joinslay.com and use the promo code SLAY500, you can get the program. But what you will also see there is how you can actually look for what the laws are in your particular state. You have to say, make sure you give real laws, because sometimes it goes a little funky because it is AI. And then say, okay, how can you help me apply my facts to the law in my area? And it is international as well. Kelly says, magic bullet. Yeah, that AI is just insane. So good. Because we programmed it with my program, my books, my YouTube videos, my speeches, all of that. So now a lifestyle analysis can be looked at in 2 ways. One is by taking maybe your last year of statements, credit card statements, bank statements, cash, whatever it is that was spent, and look at it that way. Now, the other way that you can look at a lifestyle analysis is by what we call performing a negative lifestyle analysis. And what that is you basically look at what's been being spent and you back into it by saying, well, hey, if they were spending $10,000 a month, well, regardless of him only saying or her only saying she's making $1,000 a month, then we're going to assume that was their lifestyle and that where's the money coming from. Okay. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, give me a yes in the comments over there. All right. So then once you know what a person's true income is, that's when you can go, okay, now we can have an analysis on need or ability to pay, or what your income is, what your expenses are. and what is needed there. Maria says yes. Peggy says yes. Kelly, all right, good. I'm glad, guys. All right, give me a thumbs up in the comments there too. All right, so now let's talk about what do I want to talk about next? I want to talk about the standing order and how you can actually, get a narcissist on the hook for some of this stuff. All right, so in a lot of jurisdictions, there's something called a standing order. And what that is when the case is filed, then a court order is immediately issued to basically maintain status quo. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to say, I can, live my life. It's kind of, I call it like an invisible bubble kind of came down around everything. You can live your life from a day-to-day aspect, but you're not allowed to make any big sudden movements or changes. So you can't cut somebody off of an insurance policy. You can't change beneficiaries. Because what happens is the court's trying to get a sense of what I actually have here. So what they do then is if somebody violates that order, it is something that you can go and ask for them to be held in contempt or them to be sanctioned in some way. And a lot of people miss that. A lot of people forget about that. But go and take a look and see if you have some kind of court order that was issued at the time that your case was filed, and see if there's a way to hold them in contempt or just hold their feet to the fire on that. Sometimes the sanctions can be pretty good, like it limits their ability to do discovery. You get your fees, things like that. All right. So the other thing is making sure that you're checking your credit on a regular basis. Okay. Because sometimes you find out, wait a minute, they used my name. They know my name. They know my social security. They know my date of birth. They know my mother's maiden name. So go check your credit often and then freeze your credit if you can. There's ways to freeze your credit so that nobody can pull your credit without you knowing it. And then you would have to just unfreeze it if you want to go buy something or do something. But that way, nobody can actually do anything with your credit if without you being alerted. Okay. The other thing is make sure that you gather all your important financial documents, especially if you are just thinking about getting, out of a particular situation. Tax returns, account statements, credit card statements, property records. Go and check the deeds. You can go to the clerk, the property appraiser, and find out who's actually on this deed or who's not. I mean, I've often seen situations where people thought they were on the deed, they're not. Or maybe they're on the mortgage, but they're not on the deed or whatever. Now, what do I recommend as far as a home? As far as real estate, I really don't recommend that you continue to own property together after you are completely done with this person. Okay. I don't recommend it in a business partnership. I don't recommend it in any situation. If you're dealing with a narcissist, they're just trying to keep their hooks in you, and you don't want that. You want a clean break if you can get it. So get them to buy you out of the house. You buy them out of the house, take over the mortgage, whatever needs to be done. Mortgage payments are going to be part of the alimony claim, by the way. So that's, if you need them to pay it, that's part of your support claim. That's part of your lifestyle. Okay. So don't do that. Clint saying very real, that's happening to me. Oh my goodness. And Clint says no stronger community than the slay community. Fact. So good. I love our community, and it is really, truly the best. And I just want to remind everybody, if you want the workbook that goes along with this talk today and for the rest of the week, go to challenge.rebeccasong.com and grab it, because that's where you're going to be able to, have something that you can fill in, some exercises that you can do every single night. All right. So now, if you are planning for your exit, then make sure that you've got enough funds sort of stockpiled for a few months, because even if you are the non-moneyed spouse, you want to be able to get to a hearing on temporary relief so that something can be ordered for you. And you're going to need to secure your finances and where you're going to live in the meantime. Okay. I want to mention a couple of hidden ways that you can impute income. All right. So I know this is probably like drinking from a fire hose for you guys today, but I hope this is helpful. Muhammad says valuable discussion. So good. I'm so glad. There's a couple of hidden income ways that you can get income either imputed or actually receive it. One is something called the 72T calculation. And what that is the IRS provides that if you have a 401k that you're no longer contributing to, that's actually, like, let's say it's being divided, then you can actually impute income on the fact that that can be turned into basically an annuity, and the IRS does not consider that to be an early withdrawal. Okay, so you can turn it into income and actually impute that income to a person, or you can actually receive that income. That is income that you can also receive. The other thing is, in Social Security, if you've been married to a person for at least 10 years, even if you're divorced, then, and you're not remarried and you're not taking Social Security, you are entitled to half the amount that the other person is receiving, regardless of whether or not they say you can or not, and regardless of how many times that person's been married. I mean, crazy thing, but like my father was married 3 times, and he had 3 different ex-wives, and 2 of them that I know of were taking first the half the amount, and then when my father passed, they were able to take the full amount of Social Security for that from my dad. So that's something that you can also do as well. All right. So I know I probably covered a tremendous amount today. I hope this was super helpful for you. I mean, there's so many tools. There's so many ways that you can use legal discovery yourself by subpoenas, requests for productions, discovery requests. Really, really helpful. You can use asset tracing techniques such as audits, such as hiring forensic specialists, or even doing it yourself. Doing the financial analysis yourself by doing lifestyle analysis, negative lifestyle analysis. Look for discrepancies. Okay. By the way, if you're doing a subpoena to a person's place of business or where they work, and it's not that they're an entrepreneur and can fudge the numbers. If you're going to because they're a W-2 employee somewhere, you should ask, where have they directed their funds to go? What bank accounts for direct deposit? Because they can potentially siphon off money that way and put it into a bank account that you're not aware of. So that's another little trick of the trade that I learned along the way. A little way to find hidden income as well. All right. And then please be strategic in whatever methodology you use. I'm going to say again, do not throw good money after bad. Make sure that there's going to be return on your investment. This is not about the principle of the thing. This is not about you have to get them or whatever. You want to have peace. Protect your peace. Nothing is worth protecting your peace. Okay? Nothing is worth it. And if they got away with a couple $1,000 here and there, whatever, even though it sucks, let it go, because you're going to spend more than that trying to get it. All right. So, and the court may not even see it as something, that needs to be returned to you necessarily. Okay. Again, has to be wasted. It has to be, something that you didn't know about, something that you weren't aware of, that you didn't agree to. All right. So, and then for international asset recovery, as I said, there are some tools. They're kind of limited, and there's some people who can help you with global asset recovery as well. So I would say work with professionals if you can, if you have the means to, but also create that leverage yourself. That's the piece that's going to really motivate and squeeze that narcissist through your documentation, which I talked about yesterday. I'm going to talk about this so much more tomorrow. I'm going to get into the legal aspects of all kinds of things that you can do tomorrow, which is going to be so juicy. I told you today was going to be juicy, didn't I? All right. So when I make promises, I deliver. Okay. So you want to look for those red flags. Protect yourself, protect your finances, protect your peace. Okay. Tomorrow I'm doing children. I think I can't remember what's tomorrow, but one of the days tomorrow I'm doing legal aspects, and then one of the days I'm doing children. All right. And then Friday I'm doing finding your passion and creating and designing your new life. It's going to be so good. Every single day here is going to be so, so good. So for those of you who are interested in learning more about joining my community and being a part of it and being a part of all this love and support that you're seeing over here, like with Kelly, Terry, and Clint, and Sue Giles, and I saw Charles, and I see Paris Johnson, and I see so many of our coaches here. Come find out what they're all about, why they're here giving us all the love, because I want you to feel that too. So go to RebeccaZung.com/book with us. Find out what it's about. I will equip you with everything you need, step-by-step guidance, a community that lifts you, empowers you, supports you, coaching weekly, every single week. And so that you can turn your pain into your purpose, your mess into your message, and really become the most powerful, amazing person that you are meant to be, because that's what it is for me. That's my joy. That's why I get up in the morning and do this every single day. All right. So I want to know if you're going to come book a call with me, and then also come back here tomorrow and let's do this again. Go get the workbook at challenge.RebeccaZung.com so that you can follow along with this. And then also book a call with my team, because I want to we want to get a chance to meet you. All right. So I'm seeing Charles saying, sending everybody light and peace. Thank you, Rebecca, for the Soul Tribe community. I love you all. There's no other place I'd rather be. And we love you. And Sue Giles, all kinds of support. We love it. I love you, Sue Giles. And I love you, Kelly and Clint, and all of you guys who are here. Thanks, Rebecca. Always a pleasure. So remember, when you protect your finances, you're protecting your freedom. You're protecting your future. Okay? Amazing work today. I'm so grateful for all of you. And I will see all of you guys tomorrow right here, same time, same place. And I can't wait. Can you watch this after and take notes? Yes, you can. And Pablo, make sure you get the workbook too, okay? But it'll be right here so you can watch the replay as well. All right. Thank you all. And remember that you are a light shining in this world. Remember to negotiate your best life. This is your life. Seize it. Make a decision today to seize it and make it different. All right. So that your 2025 will be the best you've ever seen. You can get the workbook at challenge.rebeccazung.com and book a call with my team at rebeccazung.com/book with us. All right, Gem Girl, you've given me confidence. That's what it's all about, girlfriend. Love it. Yes. Okay. I will see all of y'all tomorrow. In the meantime, God bless you. Take care.